Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the summary for the day of 1117 to 1118 for the 16th to the 17th of March. And the report will have the latest geolocation and frontline changes as per this recording, which is well into the 18th of March. And because we're in the 18th of March, there's one breaking news, one very shocking news. According to the Russian sources, the Ukrainians have launched a new offensive this time around into the Belgorod region. So this is just south of the Kursk front. So just south of the Kursk front, you can see that Guevo is here. Guevo is here. Gornau is here. And just south of this position, the Ukrainians have launched an attack with a regrouped forces against Demidovka, Gravovka, as well as Prilese. So Ukrainian forces also was noted to have concentrated at Marine as well as Turia. So they have redeployed forces from the Kursk front into these regions here. Maybe I use another color. So they have redeployed forces from the Kursk front into this region because they have lost the Kursk front. And I did warn that the Ukrainians do have combat capability to fight easily for another 3 months to 6 months in the Kursk front. So these forces was ejected from the Kursk front prematurely, I would say. They have not been entirely wear out. They just been surprised tactically and they got totally ejected out of the Kursk front. They are just left with undefendable place. So they have now decided to launch a new attack. So the target is Demidovka, Gravovka, as well as Prilese. However, so far, according to the pro-Russian source, Rybas information, they say that there's a new breakthrough at the Belgorod region. On the eve of the talk between Trump and Putin, Ukrainian forces tried to break through in the Belgorod region. So as of 12 noon of March 18, 12 midnight of March 18, there was massive shelling of this district and then area reconnaissance and mining of roads near the border settlements, and then drone increase. And then service bus was blown up by an explosive device. Local residents were injured. Drones attacked trucks and cars. So it's quite random, if you ask me. And then, of course, there is contradicting data, whether there is armored vehicles and tanks. But at least one tank was declared destroyed. So they claim that the manpower is comparable to earlier attempts to penetrate, sabotage, and reconnaissance group during the operation in the Kursk more than 6 months ago. Much larger forces were thrown into battle, which this translation is a bit weird. I'm not sure if the largest forces is referring to Kursk or this new offensive across the border. So so far, so according to, they try to break, so these are all their analysis, so it's not important. So far, according to their mapping, they have shown that all these attacks, so I draw the arrow again, all these attacks have been stopped at the border. The Russian forces have basically stopped there at the border, but that is, of course, pro-Russian source. So they're going to be pro-Russian in their analysis. There could always be a possibility that the Ukrainians have broke through and then start to do the wild safari ride again, traveling all over the place. That's also possible. So we will continue to monitor the situation. I will update you guys as I have more information. But tentatively, that's all we have with the concentration of forces at Marine and Turia, which means that they are likely to able to continue to launch attacks into the region as they see fit, but tentatively not yet. So this is the 18th of March information. This is actually one of the latest information. I think published around 2-3 hours ago by the pro-Russian sources as per this recording. So this is totally unrelated to the SITREP, but I thought that this is very important to talk about first. So we go back into the SITREP over the Kursk front first. Yeah, I'm still not 100% recovered. And also, happy birthday to anyone that is having a birthday today. As usual, This is going to be a running gig. For those that don't like it, just, yeah, you have no choice. Because a lot of people is now looking forward to me wishing them happy birthday. So I really committed myself into it. So no choice. So happy birthday for those. Geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting hit by FPV drone. Accordingly, this is logistic. Russian forces have now geolocated south of Basivka, another advance in the south of Basivka, and they are attacking Gogolevka. Russian forces have basically captured Goncharovka, confirmed, and Rubetskina, according to the pro-Russian sources. Russian Defense Ministry report the fighting at Gogolevka, Oleshnya, Guevo, as well as Gorna. So the fighting is now still pretty much the same, strategically speaking. But of course, in terms of SITREP wise, this is totally new, particularly the confirmation of the capture of Goncharovka, the Russian claim of Rubetskina, and of course the Russian, this one is latest, the Russian advance to the southern part of Basivka. So if you zoom in, you can see that the Russian forces basically went south from the previous location, and this means that the Russian forces has expanded control around Basivka as they continue to operate. The other side, I have played it a bit more conservative. I have mapped it as Ukrainian control, because there is a Lochnia river flowing through here. So the river could potentially just cut the two sides into half, the two settlements. So it's not so straightforward that the Russians may be on the other side. So we'll just take it as conservative view for now until the Ukrainian mapping concedes that they have lost Basivka. So tentatively, we'll continue to monitor the situation in this Sumy front. No, this is becoming a Sumy front right now. But for in terms of Kursk front, generally, this is the latest. Not so latest, I did mention in the frontline changes report already, with Russian forces capturing Goncharovka, confirmed by geolocation, and pro-Russian sources continue to talk about they have mapped that the Rubetskina is now under Russian control, including everything in the south. So 4 settlements left. That's not much left. Only Gogolevka, Oleshnya, Guevo, and Gorna, and that will be the end of the entire Kursk front. So we move on. So this one I already mentioned. This is the latest. These are all 18 of March information, the latest information. So no, I will not rehash it again. Over in the Kharkiv front, at the Kharkiv front, Russian forces attack at this region at Rydny, or also known as Perovsky. So this is over on the far west in the Kursk front. Very random attack. The previous time this was attacked was in November last year. So this is a very random attack. So probably flirting around and distracting the Ukrainians, let them guess where the Russians may want to enter the border, and just to keep the Ukrainians on their toes, and they basically have to spread out their forces to guard every single place. So Ukrainians maybe do exactly the same thing, but although I got a feeling that the Ukrainians are trying to retake some kind of grounds where they can use for a bargain, because they are losing their bargain chips here. They are running out of chips. So they need to create more chips around here. So that could be a possibility, though. There might be some difference in terms of strategy and purpose. Their mission might be different. There is still fighting reported at Kozacha Lopan, and there is also fighting reported at Voschansk. So the information is coming from the Russian Defense Ministry. Voschansk is mentioned by the Ukrainians and the Russians, both of them. So that's the situation around this area. Kharkiv front tentatively is still pretty quiet. And moving on, I'm running out of voice again, so I think I will transform into Batman by the time by the end of this video. So you must press the subscribe button. And because I'm Batman. So over in the Voreshna front, in the northern flank of the Voreshna front, we have fighting reported at Kayamka. Geolocation of Russian forces at Vyholivka. This is today's information, one of the latest by the Ukrainian source, Deep State UA. However, this is a bit weird, because it's just Russian forces getting hit by artillery shelling. So it doesn't really change the mapping at all. It also doesn't just verify that they actually captured these areas here. So they claim that this area is under Ukrainian control. the Russian forces run here, and then they got spotted by drone, and then they got shelled. But this does not mean that the Ukrainians are here. So I'm like, no. yeah, so there's some discrepancy there. Kayamka is mentioned by the Ukrainians, so the Ukrainians definitely is still talking about the Russians attacking Kayamka somehow, from somewhere somehow. The Russians also are attacking Kukivka. Kukivka is mentioned on the 16th by the Ukrainians, but it's one off, so no, that's about it. Southern flank of the Zaporizhzhia front, we have fighting reported as Zapadny and Hulubivka. So the mentioned by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, Hulubivka is mentioned also by the Ukrainian 16, Zapadny is on the 17th. So the Russians are definitely still exploring where to go. Yeah. I don't think the Russians are able to go much further for now. Yeah, for now I think. Yeah, because they took too long. The main reason is not because they can't, but it got a lot more difficult because they're so slow. The Ukrainians basically should have entrenched themselves. There's no way you can. Oh, that's my WhatsApp. It's not yours. So, so I'm sorry. Yeah. So basically that's about it. Over in the Kupiansk front, the main thing is over in the north. Russian forces are attacking Kupiansk and Petropavlivka as per reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So we still do not have anything here, and also for the Hulubivka situation, we do not know it's coming from the north or coming across the river or happening opposite the river. We do not know. So tentatively, that's about it in the Kupiansk region. We move on to the Borova front. Borova front suddenly become a lot more noisy, I would say. Shelling is reported at Borova, definitely according to the Russian Defense Ministry. Ukrainian forces successfully counterattacked and retake some grounds in Zarizhzhia, whereas some clarification on front line shows some exchange of the front lines. However, according to the reports from the defense ministries, the Russians are still attacking Zarizhzhia as well as Bohuslavka. Fighting is reported Lozova as well, Kopanki as well as it's Novoyehorivka. So this Novoyehorivka is mentioned by both sides. Kopanki is by the Russians. So this is what both sides. This is by the Russians. Lozova is mentioned by the Ukrainians. Then Bohuslavka is by the Ukrainians. The Zarizhzhia is by the Ukrainians. Krylyakivka is by the Ukrainians. So there's also Krylyakivka, by the way, which is I kind of covered it accidentally. So I can't. But anyway, it's just here. So there is a lot of action more. Remember just a few steps ago, we are talking about like how quiet the Borova front has become. So it looks like the Russians are ready. They are starting to push a bit more. So we shall wait and see how this play out tentatively. Definitely very great success for the Ukrainians to retake some grounds around Zarizhzhia, improving their tactical positions. There's fighting reported at Krylyakivka according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry yesterday. So so that's interesting. Why? How does it work? I do not know, because they mentioned all three towns in a straight line. Like, unless the Ukrainians have a position like this, then they can attack in all directions. Or wrong. Yeah, the Russians can attack them in all directions. So I'm not sure how this works. So let's just wait and see. Moving to the south. Oh my god, how should I do this? Southern flank of the southern flank of the Borova front. So this is southern flank of the Borova front. There's fighting. So Novoyehorivka I already mentioned. So there's fighting reported at Kharkivka, Druzhlyubivka. Challenge reported at Izyumske as well as Vyshchev. Is it Vyshchev? Vyshchev Solone. So basically, that's the situation around here. The information is coming from the Russians and the Ukrainians. So there's definitely something happening around here. General direction is something like this. The fighting is moving in the direction of Ohivka. So this Ohivka, by the way, is not Kharkivka. It's coming from Kharkivka, which is weird. Like, yeah, I'm not sure. The mapping definitely is off. We have no information of this area here under Russian control. If this area is under Russian control, and attack on Ohivka does make sense. So, and importantly, this is reported by the Ukrainians. So Ukrainians do not report this as, they basically say this is an attack on Ukrainian positions. So, but maybe it's in the direction. So, yeah, I mean, maybe it's coming from this side. Yeah, maybe it's coming from this side, south of Makiivka, in the direction of Ohivka. I mean, that's a possibility. So let's see how these continue to play out. Tentatively, nothing is happening. Like no frontline changes. In the northern flank of the Liman front, that's where the frontline changes were. Russian forces straightened the front line south of Novolyubivka. And then they have geolocation in the north of Nevsky, confirming Russian capture of the grounds in the north of Nevsky. So it's Russian forces getting shelled by Ukrainian forces. Fighting is reported at Nevsky, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. They mentioned this. Fighting, however, is being mentioned towards Novomikhailivka, Katerinivka, Nove, Zelene Dolena, as well as shelling at Rikodo. So all these, I believe, are all Ukrainian reports from my memory. These are all Ukrainian reports. So Zelena Dolena, Nove, Russians also mentioned this. Russians mentioned Katerinivka, and Novomikhailivka is mentioned by the Ukrainians. So yeah. So basically, this is Russian, and then this is a mix between the two. So that's the sector in the northern flank of the Liman front. Things is very hot, seemingly, but it's a very difficult front line. We're talking about the distance. Like this front line is like 10 kilometers along here. So no distance from, let's say, Norway from the nearest front line is still 5 kilometers. It's still very far away. It's going to take a long time. So it's going to be a very slow, fight around here. So anyway, that's all. But that also shows, how successful the 2022 Ukrainian offensive were. For like the Balaklia offensive that allows the Ukrainians to capture all the way to this point, and this allows them to grind the Russian forces much further, and take back a lot of grounds. They take back a lot of grounds and basically delay and basically improving their odds, in the peace deal or any potential negotiations. So, rather than losing more grounds, but of course, that's negotiation wise. For the Russians, definitely, they were at Izium. Remember, the Russians were here. They basically have fought out from this area here, and they lost all of these grounds, and then they retreated all the way this back, and now they have to fight back again. And all this fight back, every kilometer costs human lives. So the Ukrainians are definitely making the Russians pay for whatever they try to do in Ukraine. Over at Yampolivka, fighting is reported, and over at Zarishne, the information is coming from the Ukrainian Defense Ministries as well. So, but that's about it. The fact that Yampolivka is still not captured is amazing. Over in the Sivers front, at the Sivers front, fighting or shelling is reported at Doronivka. Fighting reported at Bilohorivka and Volkomakayamsky and Ivano-Darivka. The information is coming from the Ukrainian Defense Ministries. So these are all Ukrainian Defense Ministries report. And the geolocation of Russian forces in the north of Volkomakayamsky, confirming Russian advance in the north. But this is the late geolocation. So this was from a video from the 9th. So this is actually outdated, but it does show the Russians in the new position that we previously do not map them in. So so they were here, or we never had them here. So this changed the front line. So this just shows that my belief that they are doing a flanking operation up north might actually be true. So, but it's 1 week since. We do not know what the hell the Russians have been doing or how successful were they. Over the Siversk front, there is FPV drone strikes on Ukrainian forces at Siversk. So that's about it. Over the Bakhmut front, Nikiforivka was reportedly attacked by the Russian forces, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. Over in the northern flank of the Bakhmut front, fighting is reported at Orikovo-Vasilivka, Chasivya, and Vyrolyubivka. This is reported by the Russians. These Ukrainians, Chasivya also, So Orikhovo Basilica, yeah, Ukraine. So my memory is correct. So that's mainly it. At Chasivia itself, there is some slight frontline changes. So Ukrainian forces has been geolocated in where the Russians previously were, confirming Ukrainian advance slightly, taking back the forest south of the settlement of this micro district. So that's what happening around Chasivia. That shows that Chasivia is just a very hard place to capture. I did say that it's just a stupid thing to do to try to capture Chasivia, but Russians want to do it. Just like they try to do all the difficult things like drink a lot of vodka and then keep bears as pets, as well as invading Ukraine and fight the entire of NATO. They like to do difficult things, so you have to give it to them. Tough guys. Over in the southern flank of the Bakhmut front, the Russian forces are fighting at Stupovsky, Proteshne, Kuryumivka, as well as Ozyarenivka. And if I'm not wrong, these are all Ukrainian reports, except for Stupovsky was reported by the Russians. The rest are all Ukrainian reports. So this is Russian, Ukrainian as well, Ukrainian. These are all Ukrainian reports. So the Russians are definitely doing a lot of things. It looks like if you zoom out a bit bigger, the Russians are attacking through Chasivya. This one action. Stupovsky Proteshny is another arrow, and then Kuryumivka Ozyarenivka is another arrow. So there's the current Russian advance in these sectors. This is what they are trying to do, in generally speaking. But no, I don't know. Of course, it does look like they are all heading towards Konstantinivka, but fool's errand. Like I said, it's just meaningless to do this. Over at the Torex front, shelling is reported at Ivanopilia as well as Pleshievka, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. There is a geolocation of airstrike on Ukrainian position at Klebanbik, so that's noted. Closer to the front lines, we have the Russians attacking at Druzhba, Krymsky, Torex, Dashny, Dilievka, as well as Leonidivka. So almost most of these are all Ukrainian reports, except I think Krymsky is Russian, Druzhba, no, Dashny is Russian. Dashny Russian reported once. Dilievka, yeah, I think everything else is just Ukrainians. So only Dashny and Krymsky is Russian. These are the rest of these reportings are all Ukrainian reports. So, and there's some major frontline changes at Torex, mainly because of clarification from the Ukrainian mapping that shows that the Ukrainian mapping says that the Ukrainian attack or the Ukrainian supply line actually come from the north. So the gray zone they have drawn looks something like this, and they say that Krymsky is still getting cut off from the center of Torex. So the Russians take back some grounds, and this area here will be gray zones. So these are gray zones, but I will put it as under Ukrainian claim, just for visualization purposes. There is further claims around gray zones around here, which I do not map it in because this is currently not relevant because no geolocations were nearby to verify such information. Like for these ones, Ukrainians were geolocated in these two places, so it makes sense that we should give some possibility of some Ukrainian control so that they are able to resupply, which then make logical sense. Otherwise, previously I thought they're coming from Krymsky, but since the Ukrainians say that it's not coming from Krymsky, we'll do our change our mapping accordingly. So, and of course, there's this chop off of this little dig here. I mean the little polygon over here. According to the Ukrainian mapping, this is taken by the Ukrainian forces. So this is a Ukrainian claim. I'm not changing it to Russian capture yet. Ukrainian capture yet. At Druzhba, this is also one of the latest geolocation. 18th of March is today's information. I haven't reported this yet. Russian forces was geolocated inside this fortification. So confirming the Russians have pushed out of Druzhba and capturing these grounds around here. So, but this does not confirm any capture of this area here. by the Russian forces does not relate to this. So potentially the Ukrainians could still be here, and then the Russians just simply want to protect their flank, their northern flank. So that's a possibility. So that's all from the thorax sector of the thorax front. At the New York sector, there is fighting reported at Sukabalka, Alexandropil. Geolocation of Russian forces confirming the Russians have straightened the front line in the northwest of Bakhmutivka, Novobakhmutivka. Sukabalka is by the Ukrainian, Alexandropil is mentioned by the Russians. So basically that's the situation in this New York sector of the thorax front. Nothing particularly very outstanding other than the frontline change. But of course, this is almost a given. Because I can't believe Ukrainian forces are going to sit inside a salient like this. So that's a teabag. Over in the northern flank of the Pokrov front. Northern flank of the Pokrov front, geolocation of Ukrainian forces all over the place. At Tarasivka and Alexandropil doesn't change any of our front line. Our front line remains the same. Fighting is reported at Vodyane Druhi, Novopotavka, Malinivka, Yelizavetivka, and Srividonivka. So that's mainly it. Information is almost all by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Except Novopatovka is by the Russians. I think these are all Ukrainian reports. Oh, Malinivka is by the Russians. So let me check. So the two further ones, these are Russian reports. The rest are all Ukrainian reports. So definitely you can see a bit of a different perspective of how the fight is actually going. The Ukrainians believe that the front line actually is still around here, whereas the Russians are talking about they are pushing outwards, rather than staying around, fighting around this sector. So that's why we need to map both sides, and then we have the entire picture. So that's all. And just a reminder, press the subscribe button. If you are not subscribed, we are going for 100,000 subs. And for those that have subbed, or you think that you have subbed, check the subscription button, because we have more comments telling me that after my reminder in the last video, that indeed that they have been unsubscribed. So do check and make sure that you are subscribed, because YouTube is pulling this trick on DPA. Because somehow they don't like us, and so I have to live with it, but I'm not going to rage against the system. I'm not powerful enough, but I still need your help. So otherwise, Russian forces are attacking at Promin, Minokhrad, Lysivka, Novopalivka, Pokrov, Shevchenko, and Vifrove. Information, I think, is all Ukrainians. Russians mentioned this. Ukrainian, Russian. This is Russian, Ukrainian. Whoops, I'm so sorry. And this is Russian. So Russian, Ukrainian. This is I forgot. Russian. Russian. Shevchenko is Russian. Something like this. So this is the current situation over in Pokrov. Of course, I know some of you guys may not think that it's important or where the sources come from. And I would say that maybe is not that important. Maybe. But I'm just telling you that I don't make shit up. That's the whole point. The whole point is, no matter which video you watch here, I don't make shit up. So everything is just reported by someone. There's always a source. And if there is no source or is my analysis, I'll tell you that this is what I think. And also, if I have a source but I cannot share the source, I'll say that my source tells me. But everything is, please take it with a pinch of salt. Nothing is reality. The only reality is for the soldiers on the ground. Even the commanders in the HQ, unless they are watching from a drone, which give them live feed of what's happening, nothing they know is reality as well. Most of the things they know is also very based on what they understood. Unless they are on direct contact with their troops, then they know certain facts about their troops, but not the enemy. So that's what I want to share. I haven't said this for a long time. I do say this Do remind people about this, once in the blue moon, of how Intel works, Intel analysis works, So findings reported at Kotline, Udashne, Uspenivka, and Novo-Oleksandrivka. So there is geolocation of a Russian FPV drone strike on Ukrainian vehicle at Novo-Mykolaiv. So findings reported in all these regions. Vivrove, we did mention already. So now let me know in the comment, do you still want me to tell you the sources? But sometimes I decided to say, sometimes I decided not to say. So that's all. And I'm lost. Yeah, I paused the video because someone told me to eat a chocolate, and then I forgot where I was. But anyway, yeah, the fighting is here. Yeah, I was saying, I remembered. Let me know, do you want me to tell you the sources, like do the circling? I know someone said that it's useful, but like, this Ukrainian, Russian, that kind of thing. Yeah, but anyway, moving on to the southern flank of the Pokrov front. Fighting is reported at Horikhove, Bodanivka, Sribne, as well as Yasinove. So there is still this chain of attack coming down this region. Geolocation of a T-80 tank hit by a drone, so was noted. Whether it's destroyed, I'm not sure. So Ukrainian. So you can see that there's they have this parallel universe, but it's like slightly off. Like they're not straight, they're slightly off. So yeah, so that's what it is. And now moving on to the Andriivka front. So at the Andriivka front, Russian forces are fighting at Andriivka, Konstantinopel, towards Oleksievka, Rozliv, and Bahatil. So that's the current reports of the situation around here. However, geolocation of Ukrainian forces took back some grounds around Andriivka. So let's zoom in a bit. This is also today's information. Ukrainian forces geolocated along this forest line, and basically retaking back some of the grounds, moving in the direction of Andriivka. So this is probably some kind of counterattack to try to take back some grounds in Andriivka. So and it's a continuation of the Ukrainian sporadic offensive all across the front line. So it's very interesting that Ukrainians are able to continue to do all these things. So let's see how long they can keep up with this offensive operations, this assault operations. Hope that things are well for them, I guess. And over in the Velika Novosilka front, at the Velika Novosilka front, we have a lot of actions around here. Fighting is reported at Obratne, Shalin at Fitorevka, fighting at Sevastoli, Skutne, Shevchenko, Vinipole, Privene, Novosilka, and Novopil. So these are all the actions at the Velika Novosilka front. We have some frontline changes around at the Vasily Bulatske region and the Novosilka region. So we zoom in a bit. So down at Vasily, Russian forces geolocated in a new position, moving up north, as well as taking some ground in the northeast of Bulatske. Information is not just from the geolocation, but this is also by Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source, mapping this as well. So that's the current change around this sector. And southwest of this position, similar situation is happening. Geolocation of Russian forces northeast of Novosilka, confirming the Russians have straightened the front line between Previlne and Novosilka. So basically, that's the two frontline changes in this sector of the front line of the battlefield. My choice of my amount of vocabulary is poor, man. Anyway, everything is a front, and there's no armored vehicles. Everything is a tank. Moving on to the Zaporizhzhia front. So this is Zaporizhzhia front. Fighting is currently over in the Kayamsky sector. The Kayamsky sector, the Russian forces have did a massive capture around this front line. I have reported this in the frontline changes report, but due to my poor scheduling of my videos, I don't think it reaches many of you guys. So the Russian forces have captured Stepove, largely going to be capturing Stepove. They have entered into Malaysia Baki, and these are the frontline changes around here. Geolocation is happened today, confirmed the Russians have basically reached Stepove, so going more advanced than the Ukrainian mapping. So the rest, these are all Ukrainian mapping. The lower one, the Russian claims is much more bigger. However, I believe the Russian claim is most likely accurate as per the geolocations here in Stepove has proven. And fighting is reported at Lokove, Zerebianki, Malishebaki, and Stepove. And the Russian Defense Ministry already announced the capture of Stepove. So I'm not sure if it's a bit premature. I got a feeling that it's a bit premature. So that's the current situation. Shebaki, there is a helicopter strike. From my understanding, LMUR is a helicopter guided missile. So that's all. And then Kremsky was also mentioned. There is some fighting reported in this sector as well. So while all these are happening, So while all these are happening, so Kremsky was attacked and shelling is reported at Pavlivka. So that's all from the Kremsky sector. This is a very big offensive. As I mentioned, this piece alone is more than 30 square kilometers. So this is a very, very huge capture by the Russian forces. So we will definitely continue to look out and see how far they will go, because this advance I predict is only around it's developed over 7 days. It's not a 1 day thing. So there could be gradual movement of the front line as we move forward. Over at the Kherson front. We have mentioned a pre-Dniprovsky by the Russian Defense Ministry. Otherwise, it could be attack, it could be just shelling. Not entirely sure. Shelling is reported in Mikhailsky, Kotarivka, and Tyakhinka as well. So mainly that's about it for the Kherson front. There's nothing particularly special around here. And I know some of you guys know the pronunciation as Kherson. Yeah, but I prefer to pronounce it as Kherson, because I'm badass. So that's it. So thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe. Also, you can also write in the comments suggestion how the situation report should change. Because if not, I'm just going to be very technical and just report every single attack that was being reported. But of course, I shouldn't do too much analysis into the SITREP, because I'm just explaining what's the situation. I'm not wanting to do too much analysis into future actions, but too far into the future actions. So yeah, but of course sometimes I do just to have context of what's happening. But yeah, so let's see how this goes. My concentration right now, for those that are interested. So if you're only interested in the report, you can actually turn off the video right now. But for those that are still more hardcore supporters of DPA, just a bit more, I want the current situation is that you may realize that I'm not posting much on DPA War at all. The main thing is because I'm concentrating my efforts on the main channel, because I'm going for the 100,000 subs. Because there might be some algorithm changes and differences for a bigger channel, particularly a 100,000 channel that gotten a silver plug versus one that doesn't have. This is a very high possibility, because I can say, for example, a bigger channel, for example, the main channel, DPA channel, versus DPA News, which is a relatively new channel. The speed of YouTube processing the video is different. On the main channel is very, very fast. The YouTube process the video super fast. On the DPA News channel, they take their own sweet time. So there is differences in the way how YouTube treat a channel of different sizes. So this biasness or discrepancy may affect DPA, because DPA have not reached 100,000 subs. So this is something that I'm looking forward to try to ascertain whether this is the case. So which is why my concentration is here. The DPA War channel will definitely go on and will be having content in the future. It's just that lately I have just very, very burnt out, and just by Ukraine war alone is just taking up all my time. So I'm still trying to report on other stuff. I did see people tell me to report on Sudan, or I think Congo, I think Ethiopia maybe. So there's a lot of things happening in Africa. So I will see how to manage. The problem is time. I just don't have the time. So let's see how this goes. The primary revenue driver is still Ukraine war. Unfortunately, that's the highest interest among people. So I still have to focus on this and see how this goes as we go along. But don't worry for those that might be worrying that, oh, what if the Ukraine war ends, then what should I do? No, don't worry. My actual interest is geopolitics. So I will definitely continue to report on the geopolitics, which is probably more relaxing and not so stressful than Ukraine war reporting. And war reporting wise, there's still so many wars happening around the world. I don't think there's any shortage of wars for me to report. So it's just that whether people are interested to watch them is another story altogether. So it's of course up to me to make it interesting for you to watch and make you care about those conflicts. So that we'll see how that goes, because it will take some thinking as well as manpower, or maybe resources, or maybe some change of things like or some major preparation work required on my side to bring DPA's video to another level of production. Because for now, there's hardly any production. There's limited production, like you can see. There's a very nice border and frames, but generally speaking, there is no video editing at all, because there's no time for video editing. I cannot spend time like History Legend, where he spent 3 days to 5 days to develop one video. I don't have that luxury. I need to do the mapping. The mapping alone takes 4 hours a day. So all these things that you're seeing, it takes 4 hours a day. So that's 4 hours gone. If you have a work day is 8 to 10 hours, that's half your work day gone. So that's the intensity of the Ukraine war reporting. And that's what is draining me as well. I've been doing this for 1,118 days already. So so there is certain drain to that thing, and it's very hard to spend more time to develop more interesting stuff. So so I will see how this goes. And thank you for your support. For you to watch to this point, 42 minutes into the video. You're great. You're a hero viewer of the DPA YouTube channel. So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next update.